Hello everyone, I'm Doyle Barnett. Have you spent much of your life searching for spiritual growth but have yet to find the answers? Then just maybe seeking answers has not been the best path for you. Do you remember the 1984 film, The Karate Kid? In it, Mr. Miyagi said, "Answer only important when asked right question." Perhaps searching for the right questions would be a better path for you. Here are a few critically important questions that you may want to ask yourself if you're serious about your spiritual growth. Questions about prayer. 28,000 children will starve to death today, so why should any of your prayers be answered? Now this is a scary but important thought. Every minute, Spirit watches 14 children die of hunger. So what is the likelihood that these same spiritual powers will guide your comparatively petty concerns about prosperity, where to live, or which job to take? Your path may change dramatically when you find the courage to answer this question honestly. And saying that these kids deserve their karma is just a New Age cop-out. Put another way, in the mid-1800s, 70,000 Mormons and their families walked thousands of miles, pulling wooden carts and fighting off Indians, disease, and frostbite to get to their holy land. These seekers trusted in God, yet many of them lost their limbs and lives as a result. Now, considering the Mormons' level of spiritual dedication and the ultimate price that many of them paid, why would you assume that you can sit in your comfortable home, meditate for a few hours a week, and trust that the universe will bestow grace, guidance, protection, and prosperity to you whenever you need it? Questions about trust. You've been told to put your trust in God or the universe, but out of the 6 million Jews who died in the Holocaust, there must have been thousands and possibly millions of spiritual seekers who trusted that their prayers would be answered. Are you trusting that Spirit will give you what you need to grow? Isn't that a little bit like throwing all of your pills in a bowl and then grabbing a handful every day, trusting that you will get whatever you really need? A question about faith. The goal of Western religions is faith, while the goal of Eastern approaches is enlightenment. Do you know that they are opposites? Have you been seeking both? How far have you gotten trying to travel in opposite directions simultaneously? Questions about beliefs. When you hear, read, or learn some new belief or philosophy that you like better than the one you're currently using, do you then replace your old understanding with a new one? Did you grow up with some Christian beliefs about God that you may have later traded in for some Hindu beliefs, that you may have exchanged for Buddhist beliefs, that you swapped for Indian beliefs, which you switched for metaphysical beliefs? Do you then think that by upgrading your beliefs, you are becoming more spiritual? Are you practicing the path of belief upgrading because you think that philosophical growth is the same as spiritual growth? Questions about spiritual achievement. In your search for spiritual growth, if you've sought long and hard, if you've given everything you have to know the truth and still it evades you, then you will eventually reach a tipping point when you've just had enough. You've given everything. You feel like you've said every prayer, tried every meditation and religion, read every spiritual book, and taken every spiritual workshop you could afford. Maybe a few of you have even sacrificed some of or most of your life for your search. And with all of your efforts, you still haven't achieved what was promised you. You haven't acquired the philosophical peace, the connection, or the spiritual achievements that you've longed for. All of your efforts have just not worked as well as you thought they would. Questions about surrender. Have you ever declared to the heavens, "That's it, I've had enough, I will try no longer"? Maybe you've even done what the Buddha did. You sit under your own Bodhi tree and refuse to walk a step further until the truth is revealed to you. Now, some teachings will tell you that it is at this point when you finally surrender that realization comes. But you've already surrendered so many times before. And not even complete surrender works for most people. It is a nice concept, but it usually doesn't work. What does work for all people all of the time? Is there such a path? There is, but it is not learning another religion, faith, belief, or philosophy. You don't have to trade in your current beliefs for new ones. You can finally get off the path that most seekers have been stuck on for most of their lives, the Tao of belief upgrading. This path costs you no money, but there is a huge price to pay. Sadly, it requires even more hard work of the most difficult kind. It will require you to examine all of those cherished religious, spiritual, metaphysical, and philosophical beliefs that you've been collecting for all of your life because you thought they were making you more spiritual. And as difficult as it will be, you will need to admit that those beliefs haven't given you the spiritual achievements that you've always longed for. And once you've accomplished this almost impossible task, you will need to do something that is even more Herculean. You will be required to purge your being of all those beliefs that are cluttering your mind and constricting your heart. You will be required to open your heart to re-feel and heal those emotions that you have encased in it during your lifetime. It will require you to reevaluate your important relationships and make the necessary changes that are required for true healing, forgiveness, and love to occur. And the most difficult step for everyone is the requirement that you relinquish your ego, to humble that part of you that believes that because you are older and wiser, that you are also more spiritual. Do you have it in you? Can you summon enough will and energy for one last endeavor before you give up your spiritual search permanently? If so, you can get a little help in my new book, Spiritual Growth is Not What You Think. This book is a light-hearted yet tough love course in advanced spiritual philosophy. It is not just another metaphysical fad or more New Age hype. In fact, this pragmatic book is an entertaining antidote to the spiritual practice of the month syndrome. It offers direction and inspiration to serious seekers who are ready to exchange their supernatural fantasies of myths, magic, and miracles for an actual spiritual reality. You can find this book and the ebook versions on Amazon or on my website at doyleb.com. Here you will learn to recognize the critical difference between philosophical growth and spiritual growth, and you will realize that the true measurement of spiritual achievement is not what you think, but rather what you feel.